How's it going, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Predecessor Protocol. This is a podcast where we talk everything about Predecessor. Welcome, everybody in chat. This is a huge opportunity for us to be streaming live to the Predecessor Game channel. We're super excited to kind of have you guys here and show you guys what this is all about. So normally I have another host, Hasp. He couldn't make it here today, so shout out to Hasp. But today we also have Lance as our co-host. Lance, say hi. How's it going, Lance?
Hello, I look just like Hasp, so you won't even notice that I'm different.
And then we also have two wonderful guests today. We got PinzoDunzo. Pinzo, how you doing today?
Not too bad, not too bad. Just kind of hanging.
Perfect. And we also got BlueJ, the goat of the LAN himself, the man with the clipboard. How are you doing today, BlueJ?
I'm doing really well. Thank you for having us on. It's awesome. I'm glad that we were gonna get to do this.
Perfect. Yeah, I'm super excited to have everybody here. We've also got some giveaways that we're going to be doing throughout the recording of this podcast, and it will also be uploaded to my YouTube channel, and we also have a Spotify account if you're interested in this episode or past episodes. This is episode 73, so there's been quite a few throughout Predecessor's lifetime. We usually record them after every patch, but obviously last weekend was LAN, and I was not available to record, so it's
Salsa.
Yeah, go ahead.
What is your YouTube channel and what is the account name on Spotify to find?
Oh yeah, of course. Sorry. So it's just Secret Salsa on YouTube and Predecessor Protocol on Spotify. So check it out there if you're interested in past episodes. This has been happening since I think January 2023 when Predecessor kind of entered its beta phase. I think it was in December 2022. So lots of episodes to follow up. As you can see in the top left over there, exclamation point wife for the Kingpin Bellica skin giveaway. We'll be doing 5 of those. I mean, you've heard it a million times here today. We'll be giving away 5, and you have to be ready and available to receive it by messaging Predecessor Game on Twitch. But without further ado, we wasted enough time. Let's just get right into it. So we're going to be kind of talking about LAN. Usually we talk about the update a little bit, but I don't think there was that much. There's a few skins that we can kind of look at. But I think we're just going to kind of start and talk to Pinzo and BlueJ and just kind of see like what they think Pred is doing well, what they think is not. So let's start with Pinzo. First question for you, and we'll kind of pass it over to BlueJ as well afterwards. And maybe we'll ask Lance as well, because Lance is obviously new/guest here as well. Pinzo, what do you think Predecessor is doing well?
At the moment, the new heroes, honestly, the last 2 heroes have both been maybe a little overpowered on launch, but they're fun to play. I think that's the number one thing that they've been hitting. They've been making fun heroes to play. Obviously, once they get tuned down, they're a little more acceptable around the ranked part of the game, but they're just fun to play. They're doing a really good job with that.
Yeah, 100%. Like, as is customary fashion for new heroes, they do release a little strong, but usually the patches kind of turn it down a little bit. We'll see how long it takes them to turn down Rena a little bit more, in my opinion. But I'm gonna pass it over to BlueJ. What do you think Predecessor Game is doing well, or I guess I should say Omeda Studios?
Yeah, I mean, I think Omeda's done a great job in a few different areas. I think that the pickup and running tournaments under their branch has been just a huge thing for the overall competitive scene of the game, and it really kind of pushed us forward. So when we did have this LAN, like we'll talk about a little later, there was already kind of a set number of teams that had stayed together for quite a while coming into it. So I think it's awesome that they've been doing that. I want to double back on the heroes. I've really enjoyed all the heroes that have been put in the game ever since they've used their unique champions and they're done with the old Paragon ones. So I think there's a really good opportunity to kind of shift the game in a direction that Paragon didn't have before, and that Predecessor can kind of control its own identity moving forward with the different abilities and unique things that all these heroes can do.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say those 2 things are probably the main things that I've been really impressed with Omeda so far.
Yeah, I agree. Lance, do you have any thoughts on this? What do you think Omeda Studios is doing well with Predecessor?
this last balance patch, for me personally, as a gadget main who also plays a bunch of Shinbi and Greystone, it is mwah for me right now. I am eating so good that you probably saw on the LanceCecil block of this thing yesterday, the creator takeover. Gadget's OP right now, so I can't log into this game without smiling.
I heard you almost went deathless.
I almost went deathless on my block. Yes,
block.
I got trolled in game 3, but through 2 games I had not died, and I was ready to complete the gauntlet, and I got my pick taken away from me in game 3, and I was happy about it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
We'll put it that way.
Speaking of that, I just want to shout out to all the kind of creators that have been before me and will be coming after me. We're kind of obviously getting to the end of this 36-hour thing, but I really appreciate Omeda Studios giving us the opportunity to stream live to the Predecessor Game channel and kind of show off our stuff. Everybody's been doing kind of different. There's been Jeopardy, there's been gameplay, Nitro's ranked, quick plays, there's been Empress with her hero concept and stuff like that. I think it's super cool to kind of see what everyone brings to the table and just kind of let people show off what they're made of. So I think that's going to kind of bring us to our second question, kind of building off of the first question. We'll start with you, Pinzo, again. What do you think Predecessor needs to improve on? What do you think they could do better?
Replay system, easy. Replay system is atrocious.
Yeah.
Replay system plus pause feature.
Yes, sir. I know that Sergeant Smokey was at the LAN and a number of devs. Obviously, Demande, Lermy, Smokey, Ray is a dev, right? He was also a player, but he was allowed to play because there's a LAN. I know that they were all taking notes, and Smokey told a few of us that he had like a grocery list of stuff to fix. So hopefully, after years of begging, we will get those much needed changes, and it will just add to our PCC experience and any other sort of grassroots competitive scene. So I 100% agree with that. BlueJ, what do you think Predecessor can improve on?
Clearly what comes to mind is just what Pinzo said. I'll go a little bit different, so I'm not just repeating his answer, but but that would be my main focus for them is a sound replay system, just so broadcasts can be so much easier and everything is so much less difficult. I think the other thing that they could be potentially doing, and not something that I think they're actually doing wrong, but maybe reaching out to a little bit more of the unique gaming markets. I see that we have some Smite creators coming over right now because obviously that game is like, say as you will, losing players a little bit, so we can kind of pull from over there. But I also think there's different regions around the world that are really looking for a game like this. For example, Korea, Vietnam is a big mobile gaming, but it's actually coming into a lot of the PC side as a lot of their players are pulling in. So in some of the business articles that I've been reading around, it looks like that some markets could be ripe for actually coming in and pulling in some other players from. So I think that they could actually see really good opportunities in going and reaching out to some of the other regions around the world, just besides, Europe and North America.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with that. I think we're definitely getting to the point where we need to start grasping our fingers outwards into the world and seeing where we can pull new players from. Because always excited to see new faces, right? New faces in the comp scene. There's been a few new teams that have kind of came and went, and you guys saw with the Wangle breakdown how all that sort of shifts. So I think there's a lot of room for new people to come in and really try and make their name in Predecessor. Last but not least, Lance, what do you think Omeda Studios can be doing better?
I've got 2.5-ish things.
Okay.
One, we got to pay my boy ChoicePlays more. This is mostly a joke, but Choice has been my MVP of Omeda Studios for a little bit now. I'm a little bit biased because he is the dude ahead of me in PCC. Choice has been doing a great job. I'd love to see them back a Brinks truck up to Choice's apartment and pay him a bunch of money. 2, I'm going to need some gadget skins ASAP, please. And then I'm also on the replay thing. So somebody that does the casting role for this game, Spectator being like 2-ish minutes behind, 2-3 minutes behind. I got to do the grand finals for LAN, and trying to have to do that call while every single person in the room is screaming and celebrating because the team has already won. Like, kind of took away from that moment a little bit, like not really for the broadcast
a little bit,
yeah, but in person it took away from the moment like big time. There was a spot at the end of it where I like asked everybody to get loud, but they've already been cheering for 3 minutes, so it like just didn't really work. But like you guys said, Smokey, I saw Smokey's list of things that he needs to do. I helped Smokey add a couple of things to that list. I strongly believe that replay mode changes are coming, but I also do want to just give them a shout out for having a replay mode in general. They were not planning on making one anytime soon. They implemented the current mode way before they were ever going to, and they did that because we were running tournaments. So shout out to them for at least having a replay mode.
Yeah. It's nice that they added that for PCC, because before that it was through Discord streams, right? And that was I wasn't fully involved in like the comp scene then, so I didn't really see it. But from what I've heard, it was not fantastic. But
I cast the first 2 PCCs from Discord POVs.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah.
It was not great.
That's gotta be freaking kind of hard to do. But yeah, I totally agree. I mean, with all the things said, I think that lots of things do need to get improved on, but of course these games are live development, so we're moving through and getting more stuff in. I kind of want to talk about the LAN experience, because every single one of us was here. It was awesome to meet everyone in person. I had a blast. We got our Predecessor t-shirt. I know there's a few PCC ones. Lance is sporting the PCC nice gold embroidered one. There were some yellow ones given out. It was super cool to just see everybody. So I kind of want to just like throw it over to Pinzo, and if you want to talk for just a few minutes and just talk about like your overall LAN experience and what you think maybe could happen in the future too.
I mean, LAN was sick, man. It was just a dream come true. It's one of those that's like every freaking 12 or 14-year-old, that plays video games or watches esports wants to play on LAN someday, and we all got to. It was almost like of the 50 players, I want to say 45-ish of them, this was their first time playing on LAN. A handful of people had played on LAN for other games or Paragon LAN, but it was almost everyone's first time, and we just got to play, man. It felt fantastic sitting down on the stage. It truly was like an indescribable feeling.
And how did it feel to play on 0 ping for the first time?
Ooh, a couple of characters have unmissable abilities on 0 ping. I will not lie. It felt mint. It was mint.
Yeah. I got to try it during a few test games. I got to try it, and unfortunately I should have played heroes like Richter. I played Rena for some reason, which I don't think would be affected by ping very much. But really, from what I was seeing from the players, like Crazy Fool on the Richter hook seemed nuts. It seemed like ADCs. Like I was watching Two Hands was in practice mode. Yeah, bro. I was watching Two Hands, and I think chat saw it on the Be Right Back screen because we had that camera on day 2, but Two Hands was sitting in practice doing flick shots with Wraith on no cooldown, just like flicking back and forth, and he was hitting every single one, which was nuts. So yeah, I think it was so cool. BlueJ, I know you were kind of helping run the show. You and Choice were the goats of the event. It sounds like you put in a lot of work beforehand. What was your overall experience?
Yeah, I think there was good, there was bad. I think there was more good than bad, which is the cool thing that came into the event. I think overall everyone was pretty happy with how the first LAN ended up turning out, and I was really happy with the experience that everyone was able to get. I want to shout out real quick Demande. That guy helped so much when it came to the server side of things. Smokey kind of gave the blueprints, but Demande was, there basically as long as I was and as long as Choice was, doing a lot of that stuff and making sure that we were able to play on 0 ping, which was a big request from a lot of the players coming to the event. It was really cool to see the 0 ping too, because when I was talking to a lot of the ADC players, they were like, yeah, dude, like I can just dodge Richter hooks because I can actually see the whole thing happen and I can sidestep it properly. So it does add different mechanics to the game, right? And that's why everyone says LAN is different when you come and play, and you don't really know what's going to happen. But overall for the event, I thought it went really well, besides some of obviously the power issues that we were having on day 1. But, stuff that you can learn from next time. I know next time the event that we're already, kind of slowly starting to plan is coming, and we learn a lot of things from this last one. And like Lance kind of said, we have a list of things, not only on the developer side, but on the production side and the management side that we're really looking to clean up for next time.
Hell yeah. Well, I'm excited for LAN 2.0. I'm regardless of where it is, I'm gonna try and be there because I mean, just the experience itself is 100% worth it. Now over to Lance. You and me were staying in a hotel together. We were like we didn't pick you up from the airport, but there was like we were
you
together.
didn't come with no. I got picked up by the airport. You just didn't think it was worth it to leave the LAN center to come pick me up. I'm not gonna forget.
No.
TDM and Mac came and got me. I'm not gonna forget Salsa.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. So apart from that, what did you think of the LAN itself being from the casting side?
So from the casting side, it was really cool. I don't want to go back to having to cast over the internet with my co-caster, because being able to like reach out to Rit and like hold his sleeve when I wanted him to keep going, or when I like to give him like in-person signs when it was like, hey, it's your turn to talk, hey, it's my turn to talk, or hey, look at the mini map, these guys are getting flanked. Like, that was a massive cheat code. It makes it so much easier to be in coordination. And although there was like a little bit of a delay, actually having a crowd there to get like hyped at the moments that you're broadcasting really gave me some goosebumps. Like, it was really, really cool to do. I will say I was not prepared footwear wise for what was going on. I am a soft little gamer boy, and I was not prepared to stand up for 16 hours each day and be in dress shoes and like be around it. BlueJ, you were walking so much. I have no idea how your feet and ankles and stuff managed to do what you did, because I sat probably twice as much as you did, and I did not feel like I sat nearly enough. So the LAN overall was a really, really cool experience. I miss being able to just like, I've been saying this to all of my like friends in Discord that I met there in person but had known for a really long time. It's like, I miss being able to just walk across the hallway and like knock on your door and be like, hey, wake up, we're getting in the hot tub. So I basically just like feel like I have nothing left to live for until they announce the next one.
Oh my God.
That's not true. PCC 12 is in like 2 weeks. But
yeah, 100%. I feel the same way. It does feel weird not being able to like hug you guys or like even like walk up and just shake your guys' hand and stuff. It's like it feels like there's a whole world between us now when we're behind the screens, right? Like, everyone's different parts of the country. Some people flew from like EU, some people flew from the Middle East, I think, as well, which is
Saudi Arabia.
Super long ways for him to go. I think he said it was like 36 hours of travel time for a couple days. Is crazy, but I'm glad they won, and I'm glad they had fun. I think let's do a quick little giveaway here while we kind of got in between topics here. So !wife. We're going to do it in a few seconds while I kind of pull up the next set of questions here.
You do have the second best giveaway code so far, by the way. So
second best? Who's the first best?
Well, I don't want to be biased, but ! Have a hat went pretty hard.
That was a pretty good one. I wanted something different.
What?
What gadget skin were you giving away?
Pins, the Mechanical Titan gadget skin. It's her only skin.
Well, that's my point. Like, at least Salsa's giving away a good skin. You know what I mean?
I think he would have if he could have.
Yeah,
I think he would have if he could.
It's like the Timmy Turner's dad meme. Like, and this is where I'd give away my gadget skin if I had one.
All right. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Choose a winner. Beefinator _UK. We're gonna give you about a minute to type in chat and claim your skin.
Congratulations, Beefinator.
Congratulations, you're the proud owner of a huge. Hey, there he is. All right, he has DM'd. Perfect. All right, congratulations, Beefinator.
Woo!
So kind of moving on to that. Let's see here. Just kind of going through my questions. All right, here's a good one. Okay, we're going to start with Pinzo again. We're going to go the same rotation. If you could call Robbie right now and tell him to change or add one thing in the game, what would it be?
God.
You had his cell phone number, speed dial.
Oh, that is a good question. What would I tell Robbie right now? I don't even. I mean, I would probably just bitch about the replay system. I mean, that's just, LAN was last week, man. That's just at the top of my list right now.
Yeah.
I mean, like ranked matchmaking, that kind of thing. But like, whatever, man. It's been the same for the last year and a half. But I feel like I would probably just complain about replay again.
Yeah, that's totally fair. It's on everyone's mind. It's all everyone's kind of thinking
It's at
about.
the top of my list post LAN. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, BlueJ, what do you, if you had Robbie on speed dial, you could call him up right now. What would be one thing that you would change your ad?
Change your ad about the game. Honestly, I'm gonna. So I would say the same thing as Pinzo, but I'm just gonna say something completely different. I'd say let's just add another LAN in before the end of the year. If I can get whatever, I want,
Oh,
let's just do it.
Wait, before the end of the year, we're about to be 9 months in. You want them to have it ready in 3 months?
Yeah.
yeah.
Screw it.
Yo,
Let's
I
do it.
love it. Let's go. Let's just
Let's
have.
do it.
Let's just
If
have.
I
like,
can get anything I
quarterly
wanted,
ones.
if I can get
Yeah.
anything I wanted, let's just do it. You know?
Land on the yacht. That's what we need. We
Yep.
need yacht land.
Yo, I ain't going on a boat. Hard pass
It'll be
for me.
fun.
For me.
Lance, what do you think? If you had Robbie on speed dial, if you could call him up and say, "Hey, Robbie, get me something," what would it be?
Everybody knows what my answer should be here, and it is a gadget skin. So I'm gonna try to go a different way. Listen, I have been dominating my ranked lobbies for like 2 weeks now. The patch has just been very good to me, and I don't want to beat around the bush. I have been the best or the second best player in every single lobby I have gone into. I have been dominating, and I'm getting plus 17, minus 19 for some reason. Look at the stats, recognize that I am stomping on these people, and stop giving me bigger losses than gains, because it doesn't make any sense to me. That is my quarrel with this game right now.
Fair
What
enough.
rank are you, Lance? Just curious.
I'm plat 2.
Plat 2. Okay.
But I'm like in my last like 10 games, I'm like 8-2, and I'm getting plus
Okay.
17, minus 19 for some reason still.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I
kind
don't
of
know.
crazy. So
I don't
little rank changes, little replay. We want an earlier land. We want one tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
I
Yeah.
would go next week if there was a LAN next week.
Yeah,
I would find a way to make it work as well.
yeah. I might not be able to, but
I sell everything in my house. I
We gotta
sleep on
get
an
there.
air mattress to get there. I sell my whole bed.
I'm excited to see how many people come for the second one now that they've seen the experience of the first one, because for those of you who like, might have been hard to see from the camera, but we had obviously the 10 teams, which is about 50 players, and then about 20 staff members, I say. So I think overall we ended around like 80 to 90 people at the LAN, which is like kind of expected. I think we were like theorizing maybe around 100 people. But I'm curious to see how much bigger we can get that, because there's a few people who came there just for the love of the game. Shout out a military veteran who brought his daughter and then drove back through the middle of the night to get her to school on Monday morning. And then there was a few guys from California. Pink Jag and his brother just flew to California just to come watch. And those were super cool people to meet and talk to, and just be like, just see that these people like the game this much. They've traveled halfway across the continent, driven overnight just to come see these players play. So super cool to see, and I'm really excited to kind of see more of that and see more people come and meet people, because putting faces to names on first day was kind of funny. Everyone had their lanyards on, but you don't really recognize a lot of people, especially when they don't stream without cam. So you're like looking at everyone's belly like, who are you? And then you're like, oh, it's Survivor, and you're like, how's it going, Survivor, and all that sort of stuff. So I just really want more people to experience that, because it was pretty awesome.
I barely recognized Pinzo.
Yeah, Pinzo without his glasses. He does have eyes behind his glasses. It's
Here's a
confirmed.
funny. I actually have a funny story. So me and Pinzo, actually, his connecting flight was in the Chicago airport, where I'm currently living in Chicago, and so we actually just coincidentally were on the same flight to Kansas.
Oh, that's funny.
And we knew this, and we were looking around for each other, and neither of us had really ever like obviously seen each other in person yet. So I saw someone who I thought looked like Pinzo without his glasses on, but I sat there for probably a good 10 minutes and just to see if he noticed me. And then finally we locked eyes and went up, and he couldn't find me. I told him I'd be in a suit. I was in the suit like I promised. And then we finally locked eyes and went and gave each other a hug. So it's just funny to see,
Yeah.
seeing people in person that you just talk to online all the time.
Tedium, the dude that does the observing for PCC and did it for LAN, was also on that flight. And
Yes, he was. Yes, he was.
and he thought that he saw you
Literally
too, but wasn't positive enough that it was. So he like was more confident in seeing you, BlueJ, because he had seen you like on PCC desk and stuff. And he's like, that must be Pinzo, but I like am not positive about it. So he didn't like walk up and talk to you guys because he just wasn't sure, like for sure that it was the two of you, which I thought was
That's
pretty
so funny.
Yeah,
That's so funny.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a few. We saw some people on the way out. Obviously, we have already seen like Maguli and that, but like when we were leaving as well, we all kind of went to the airport around the similar time, and we met Team Immune going on their flights. Obviously, TDM, Lance, me. We sat with Maguli for a little bit, which was kind of cool. And M and North was there as well for a little bit. So it's just super cool to see. I mean, like everybody's just a regular person behind the screen, behind their internet persona or whatever they kind of show they put on. Everyone's just normal people, and it's just really cool to see that. I got another question for you guys. So we'll start with Pinzo again. How do you avoid burnout in Predecessor? Because you play a lot.
I just don't get it, man.
He just doesn't get it.
I don't have like a secret. I do not know why, but like I could play this game for 10 hours a day and I just wouldn't get burnout.
That's crazy. I've definitely taken a bit of a break, especially the week coming up to LAN. I was kind of on another game kick, playing through Terraria and stuff like that. But I definitely felt the itch of like coming back to play Pred, and as soon as I played it again, I'm like, oh yeah, we're locked in for a while.
I mean, I definitely understand it when people say, like, oh, I got to take a break, and I'm like, yeah, I got to take a break, and then the next day I'd load up ranked. You know what I mean?
He takes a break for 4 hours and then boots it up again for
the break
scrims or
is
something.
12 hours.
Yeah.
I'm good to go.
Yeah, cool. I mean, that's super interesting to hear. I do know some people have that. I mean, I'm sure Joey is kind of the same way, where he just like doesn't get burnout. Joey being Soul Reaper, because he also just plays every single day. But it's kind of interesting to see, I mean, how passionate people are for this game. A good 12-hour break, says Medkit. That's perfect. Just all you need. Just a little rest.
Dude, it works. It works for me, man. I know it doesn't work for everyone, but that is, I get my good night's sleep in, and then I'm ready to go again the next day.
Hell yeah. BlueJ, I'm not actually sure how much Pred you play. I haven't seen, obviously you don't stream or anything, but do you ever get burnout in Predecessor, and how do you kind of deal with that?
I used to play a lot more when I was competing, in the PCC events and
Red Dojo.
Shout out Red Dojo, Slime's Temp, Rogue, all the teams that I've been on. Whenever I was back then and I would definitely deal with some burnout, I would just go outside. I love going outside or taking a walk or exercising. That's kind of just my kind of therapy when it comes to burnout. Currently, like I said, I'm not playing as much just because I don't always have the time. And, I kind of wanted to take the role as to making sure the LAN was, being done properly and everyone was going to have a good time.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I'm going to continue to do. I don't think I will ever go back to playing just because of the time thing. But for burnout, I always just tell people, pick something that you really like to do, take an hour break, come back, don't break your keyboard, don't break your PC. It's not worth it.
It's just a game.
Just step away, and there's more to life. I don't know. There's probably that. Actually, I'm going to correct. There's not more to life than Predecessor. Let's be honest, right? Predecessor is life. But if you don't have a PC, you don't have a keyboard, you can't play Predecessor. So you might as well just take a break.
Yeah, go touch some grass. I've definitely taken the dogs for a walk a few times to kind of break away from it a little bit and just kind of step away from the PC and just take a break. Lance, you do a lot of gaming as well. What do you do to avoid burnout?
Yo, so this is kind of a tough question for me because I think my answer might go a little long here, but like the number one thing for me is just like blind ignorant passion. I really, really love this game. And I also like, not to be like this, but I've got a lot of other things going on in my life as well. I live a pretty cool life. I'm a dad, right? So like, I don't get to play as much as like I would want to. Like, I think that I could probably handle playing like as much as Pinzo does, who's a full-time content creator. But like, I've got a job and I've got a kid that I raise and stuff. So like, some of my game time is actually pretty limited. So I get like maybe 2 hours ish a day, which is crazy that 2 hours of playing video games a day seems limited, but it is to a lot of predecessor players. So I think that it's like I don't get to play as much as I would like to, which helps me. And I'm just like crazy passionate about the game in general. I also know that the doors that Predecessor has opened for me are like big doors. The spot that I found myself in this community is incredibly humbling for myself, because I was just your average bronze League of Legends player before this game came out, right? And now most people know who I was at LAN. I think there was like one person total that had to ask who I was, which was like a really cool feeling. I also have made a lot of friends through this game, and I've got a huge variety of people that I play with, right? So like some of my friends, I'm not going to call you out by name, but you know who you are. You're little tilters. You get pissed 1 minute into a game, you start talking about how you're going to uninstall. That's the end of us playing together for the day. I'll reach out to my next buddy. I'll play with them instead. I'll play solo queue if I need to. I've always got like fresh people that I'm playing with and like new people that I'm talking to, which I think helps with like the overall burnout. I also remember that I am never going, or no, I don't want to say I'm never going to be a Paragon level player, because I definitely am going to be at some point. However,
Yeah, you are.
I'm never going to be like in Pinzo's spot where like I'm competing for thousands and thousands of dollars. It's just a game to me. So at the end of the day, people are yelling at me in voice chat, and it's like, hey, dude, I own a business. Hey, dude, I've got a kid. Hey, I've got a nice place that I live. Like, life is pretty sweet outside of Pred, which helps me stay calm in Pred.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet. Yeah, I totally get that. Having things going on outside of Pred and not just being like entirely circled around it definitely does help for sure. Whether it's like events, family gatherings, stuff like that. I mean, hanging out with your kid, obviously, who I've said hi to a few times, is
Shout out little Lance.
Shout out little Lance. We love little Lance. Yeah, I think it's very important. Avoiding burnout in this game, especially like MOBAs are notoriously a little toxic. So it's always good to be able to take a break and just find a way to do that actually makes you feel good and makes you feel refreshed and lets you like come back into it with a level mindset. Alrighty here. Let's see. All right, here's another question. This kind of goes back a little bit to kind of Wangle's reshuffle. He was talking about the competitive scene. But I wanted to ask you, Pinzo, what are your thoughts on like competitive state right now? Like obviously a lot of stuff is like jumbled up with teams switching and stuff like that. But what are your thoughts coming into this next PCC 12?
Well, so LAN was the most competitive tournament we've ever had in terms of just like power level of teams, right?
Yeah.
There were truthfully, 8 or 9 teams that I think could have said going into it, hey, we can win, right? Yeah. I mean, it was the most competitive tournament we've had. In terms of what's gonna happen moving forward, I think there's a maximum of one team from NA that might stay together as 5 players, that being Flow State. I think every other team is either like dissolved or moving pieces. Like Mythic is completely dissolved, MTG is dissolved, and will those players come back together in the future? Like, who knows? But for this PCC, it's going to be a hell of a lot of roster mania. You're going to see some really weird rosters. I think you're going to see some odd role swaps, like off lane specifically in this next PCC has just no players. Like nobody wants to touch that role, I guess. So there's 3 or 4 teams that are just searching for an offlaner. And there's 2 offlaners to go around. So who are they going to play with? Who knows? This PCC is going to be a little bit of a shit show, but hopefully rosters get figured out and stuff for the next event. And I hope NA, this is the one thing I hope NA takes away from EU, from LAN, is that I hope NA starts freaking sticking together as teams, man. NA loves to switch teams every PCC, and I hope that we start getting some teams that actually stick together for 6-8 months till the next LAN, and we actually get some teams with really good team play and that kind of thing. That at this point in the game, it's not as much individual skill that matters. It's a lot more team cohesion and stuff like that matters a lot more. You could see it with Sin. Those guys have been, at least 3 of those guys, right? You know, Ray and Port Shin have been playing together for a really long time, and you can tell, right? It pays off. So hopefully NA takes a couple pages out of EU's book moving forward.
Yeah, keep it together. Kind of rather than just like trying out a new part, just try and making it work. Like working out the kinks with your teammates. I agree. Just kind of working on the relationship between people too, I think is really important. I don't know if that affected anybody at LAN, like seeing people in person and how like demeanors obviously change when you're in person versus when you have a screen in front of you. So, I mean, there's some people who you know to be toxic online and show up and they're just like the nicest person you've ever met or whatever. So, I'm kind of curious to like know if that changed anything for the team specifically, or not. So, BlueJ, do you have any thoughts on the sort of competitive scene after seeing like how these teams work together at LAN, stuff like that?
Yeah, I actually have a lot of thoughts. So sorry if I ramble here.
No, go ahead.
One is actually piggybacking off of just what kind of you talked about and the different demeanor that LAN brings. I come from a Call of Duty background, so a lot of trash talking in those events when I played when I was a little bit younger. But even at this last LAN, for those of you who were there, you saw, you know, even though we try to spread you out a little bit in the back room and on the stage, it's like, if people are going to talk trash, they're going to talk trash, right? And it does change the level of things for teams because some people respond really well to that and just kind of laugh it off and, you know, want to kind of push back harder. And some people just completely crumble under trash talking, right? So it's going to be very interesting to see it come back to an online version where that's just not happening, right?
Yeah.
Leading into this next kind of competitive scene is very interesting because it depends on the type of game that's occurring, right? If you have a game where you already have orgs coming in and giving contracts to players, you'll see teams sticking together for quite a lot longer just because there's something to hold them down to practice, right? But right now, when you have a game which the money is in the tournaments, then people are more willing to change around teams to try to make super teams to come into these tournaments. So like Pinzo said, I think you're going to see a lot of that, a lot of teams switching around for this event. And you're also going to see a lot of people that just had kind of a burnout from LAN, right? It's a competitive, hard thing to play video games for 14 hours a day. And these players did that for 3 days in a row, a lot of them, right?
Yeah.
So I think some of them might take a PCC off, which will give the opportunity, in my opinion, for a lot of these other players that are in Paragon to kind of resurface themselves into the competitive community and take some of these spots like Pinzo's talking about, right? If there's a lot of open offlane spots, I'd be in these Discord calls trying to get in. If I'm one of the top players in Paragon right now and I want to come in and play for money, I'd be trying to reach out to some of these teams who need these players to come in and just go in for a test try, right? Go in, try a scrim with these teams and see what you can do, because I think there's an incredible opportunity for newer players to come in and try to take some of these spots from some of the players that maybe aren't going to be playing in this next PCC and establish themselves in the game. So I think it's a great opportunity. I love that Omeda is putting on a tournament right after LAN because it kind of forces people to get their stuff together instead of just linger for a long time and not scrim for a few months. Like, you have to scrim now with the team that you're going in with, right? So I think it's a great opportunity. I love what the competitive scene is kind of shifting towards at the moment.
Yeah. And to your point there about talking like the 14-hour days, like the playing IRL LAN experience, which you chat probably heard over caster mics a little bit when people were freaking out, but the amount of like shit talk happening between the teams on the stage was so awesome. Phenomenal to hear, and you could see it break some people, right? Like like there was 100% people times where like mentals were broken because of what was being said, and yes, we did have to tell the players to chill out just a little bit, but it was really interesting, and it's like a completely different experience than sitting in a Discord call, right? Because you're not talking. You don't see the enemy team looking at you, clicking their mouse like, talk to me, you know, stuff like that, right? So it is a whole different beast, and I agree, like the whole burnout thing and everything, so.
Yeah, I mean, you saw even just in the finals game, Sin versus Mach 10, right? The Mach 10 guys, not really talking too much trash in that game, actually, right? Really just getting hyped with themselves. But I think everyone had it in the back of their head, like, hey, if Sin gets a little bit of momentum, and, you know, obviously they have people like Import Shin on their team who do talk a lot of trash. If they stand up and start gaining momentum, then it can cause for a comeback, which is what we saw, right? So it's like completely shifts the values of everyone at LAN.
Whatever they did in game, like right before game 3, they took a break, they stepped outside, they huddled together, they got it together, and they just like got ready for the reverse sweep. And you could see it, like the whole like shift in attitudes of Mach 10 versus Sin, because like Mach 10 started out really hot, obviously going 2-0 into that grand finals, and they were like kind of doing like the whole talking and stuff like that, and they were like talking up the other team, and you could see that Sin was like a little bit lower, but whatever they did to like flick the switch, it just like completely tipped the other way, and obviously they got out with the W. So
yeah, this is the last thing I'll say, because I think it's actually a cool story. We were running pretty late, obviously. I think we were running till like 1:30 in the morning in that time. We had proposed potentially, and I don't want to get anyone mad during this. This was just a thought, right?
Yeah.
That we were going to do a best of 3 series in the finals instead of a best of 5. It wasn't like, you know, it's a best of 5. That's what was in the rule books, but just for time purposes and not having people there till 2 in the morning, there was a possibility, which is just, obviously I might have stirred something up here, but I think it's just funny to see how things would turn out, right? If it's completely different like that. But yeah, we ended up, obviously best of 5 for finals is just the best way to do it, and we saw magic, right?
Yeah,
I mean, even with that proposal, I don't think any of the Mach 10 guys would have wanted a best of 3.
Yeah,
Like
no,
even with what happened, I think all of those guys would still say be a 5.
Yeah. I think my favorite part was when, like, I think when Import and Sin won the 3rd game, he stood up and went, "I can do this all night," kind of thing, which is just super fun. I mean, like, I agree. They're there for the weekend. It's worth ruining a few sleep schedules just to, like, play as much Pred at LAN as you can. On that note, Lance, what are your thoughts on the competitive scene kind of going into PCC 12?
So I am a competitive Predecessor junkie. I mentioned earlier about how I've got a bunch of other cool things going on in my life, but I still live for this stuff. It is one of like the big things that I look forward to on the weekends when we get to do it. So I think that the state is really interesting. I think that we are growing at a really rapid rate, and I think a lot of that has to do with Omeda's accusation of PCC and them hiring Choice and like kind of making the competitive side a lot more official than it was before. We got a decent amount of support from Omeda. You know, we got retweets, we got this and that. We got them to like talk to us and like give advice, and they would give us like, you know, hey, this is when the patch is. So like, because at a time we were planning PCCs like a year out for year 2 we did. So we've taken a huge step forward as an esports scene for it. I really hope that people learn kind of like what Pinzo was saying at the beginning from the European teams and kind of stick together. As somebody that has been responsible for kind of feeding information to the PCC talent and trying to help with writing storylines and keep everybody updated on what's going on, it would make my job so much easier if you guys would just stick together so that we could develop storylines, and the storylines weren't, oh, Pinzo used to be on this guy's team and now they're playing against each other. How's that going to go? Like, I would so much rather it be, yo, Pinzo and Nitro have been playing together for 8 PCCs. Is this the one that they break through? Like, that would be pretty neat. It would also make it a lot easier from like a casting side, where if I could get used to 5-man rosters and I wouldn't have to like get confused because I'm casting Toasty versus Lakeinator instead of casting them together like I did for almost 2 years. So competitive Predecessor is in a really cool spot. I do think it is only growing, and I hope that the next LAN, North America puts up a super team, you know, get Pinzo in the mid lane and then just get any other 4 players. Well, we'll put a North American super team out there, and hopefully we can compete with EU. I am a little disappointed. Mach 10 did get second, so a North American team got second, but 20% of their team is EU, with Bondrewd being their offlaner. Every single European player in the LAN got top 3. That kind of stinks. We gotta figure this out, North America. Come on,
get it together. Yeah, 100%. I think it definitely shows like we were talking about, like the keeping the teams together stuff. Like EU is like Immune has been together for a long time, so it's, yeah, it definitely feels like it shows a little bit, for sure. I think now we're going to kind of open it up to chat here. We don't normally do this on the podcast, doing chat questions, but I figured since we're doing it on the Predecessor Game channel, If you guys have any questions for me, Lance, Pinzo, BlueJ about anything and everything, feel free to use the highlight my message thing, so it's a little bit easier to weed out through the questions. Oh, here you go, Lance. There's a question.
I got one. What do I think about F6 and PCC?
Yeah, there you go.
So me personally, I love the idea of F6 playing in PCC because it means Ego and F6 probably aren't getting finals, and Lance and Rick get another one. So I'm big in support of that. I also am going to support F6's team unbiasedly, no matter what. He could be with my 4 biggest enemies, but I would still cheer for that team because of my affinity for F6.
Hell yeah. We love F6. F6 was a good time. It was good to meet F6 in person as well.
I got to tell a quick little story, okay?
Okay, go for it.
So I just got to LAN, and like the first 10 minutes in the venue are always a little bit awkward because you're getting in there, saying hi, reading people's name tags or badges or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was talking with somebody looking towards the secondary room, and I put my bag down and turned around, and I just see a flying squirrel shooting through the air at me in the form of F6, and he just jumps into me and wraps himself around me like a koala bear and just held on to me for 2 minutes. And I was like, yo, I don't know if I've ever felt this loved, and I have a son who hugs me all of the time, right?
Yeah,
that was a super, super cool way to do it, and it completely took all of the anxiety he had about being in that room full of all those gamers away from me. He vanished it from me, so shout out to F6, you're the GOAT for that.
Yeah. Let's see. Someone was asking how shiny was Soul's bald head. He is not bald. It is confirmed. Either that or someone in chat was talking about how his wig maker was working overtime. We did not test it, but 99% sure he's not bald. It is confirmed. Confirmed IRL. Let's see here. I got a question for you guys about the next hero that's coming out in a few weeks. Kind of we've seen a little bit. Obviously, we know his name is Akaran. We know he's the demon king of Ashgarath. Lots of cool new features coming with him. We think he's gonna be a non-bipedal hero, as you saw in the splash art. Pinzo, do you have any thoughts on abilities you might want him to have, or roles you might want him to play?
We just got an assassin and a mage from Omeda, so probably not one of those. I don't think we need another one. I don't need Black Panther 2 in Pred this fast. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As far as abilities, I've been saying the only thing that I want in Pred for the longest time is a semi-global ultimate. I think from Smite, this would be something like Thor ultimate. In League, what's a comparison in League?
Galio?
Yeah, Galio would fit.
That's kind of Muriel, but
yeah, the Galio would fit that, or even a Rakan would fit that. Something that goes far, but not actually global. But yeah, that's all I want. That is all that I need now in Pred.
Oh yeah. Okay. Cool. BlueJ, do you have any thoughts on the next hero? Do you have any things that you're kind of thinking you might want him to have ability wise, or?
I don't know, man. I think it'd be cool if we started doing kind of some character synergies like League has between a few people, with Renan and him. I think that would be kind of cool if they had these slight synergies or voice lines that would kind of coincide with each other. I know we do have that a little bit, but I kind of want to see more of that. I also want him to be able to be flexed into multiple roles. That's always one of my big things when champions are out. I would love to see the new character played in offlane, in jungle, in support, if people want to theory craft mid or whatever. But yeah, that's kind of what I have with a new character, as long as it brings a positive impact to the competitive community, because that's all that I really care about, if I'm going to be honest, when it comes to Predecessor. And obviously I want the game to succeed and him to be really, really, really fun to play for the casual player base. But I think at this current moment, when the competitive scene of Predecessor is going up, the casual player base is going up. So I think that's really important, that he just has factors where he can be played competitively well.
Yeah, has a high skill ceiling and kind of a lower skill floor, so kind of everybody can play them kind of thing. I agree. I think that's a kind of good thing. Just quickly before we get your answer, Lance, we got a question from Ego from Esports, who was on the Predecessor
Ego from
game.
Esports.
Ego from Esports was on the Predecessor Game channel earlier. He says, how did casting the first LAN final feel? Do you feel it adds to the Lance legacy?
Oh goodness, this is gonna make me feel like such a boastful, arrogant person here, but I'm gonna keep it a buck with you guys. I felt immortal when it was over. I don't think that you can tell like the overall story of Predecessor without mentioning me, because like you can talk about, you know, it came from Paragon, yada yada yada. But if you ever tell any story about the competitive side of Predecessor, you will never be able to leave my name or my call out of it, because I did the very first in-person one. I'm not incredibly happy with the way that the call came out. I think part of that is the fact that there was a room full of cheering people 3 minutes before I got to do my finals call. But like, I already felt immortal from this game once when they added the PCC spray. I was like, yo, they're never going to take those pixels out. I've done it. My tombstone is in this grave at this point. But now that I was able to do that, like, it does feel like you can never take it away from me, the fact that I was able to do that, and the fact that I did, like, so far the biggest competitive moment that Predecessors had, my voice being attached to the clip of it ending, feels like really, really cool. And yeah, I will say, Pinzo, I know you're a better player than me, so you don't experience this. I have to play on an account. I use my main account, but I change the name on it all of the time because I'm a mid-tier player, and people see me and know who I am, and they go, oh, I have to gank that guy on repeat, and I can't handle a bunch of ganks the way that you can, Pinzo. So it is kind of a double-edged sword at the same time, though. You know, a lot of attention comes from the community, but it also comes from enemy junglers. So
Oh yeah.
It ranked is the same as playing at LAN, man. There's always 4 people in my lane, dude.
Yeah.
Like, what am I supposed to do about that?
absorb the pressure.
I'm under tower. There's still 3 people in my lane. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Mid lane's a war zone. We all know this. It is an absolute battleground. Let me see here. We got a few more questions here. I guess we'll go back to, we'll let Lance just answered one, so we'll go back to Pinzo. This is a question from I Am Cosby in chat. What do you think Predecessor has done differently from other Paragon clones to see success?
Personally, I think a lot of it came from before we got to play Bread. I think Ace did a really good job just like getting money for the game, and that just ensures that the game is able to run. You know what I mean? Like if Ace didn't do what he did, getting investor money right before we really got to play the game, then would it have stayed around this long? You know, like coin flip, right?
Yep.
50-50. But because they did such a good job before anything happened, like even if it, I have no idea on the money side of things, but you know, even if it wasn't profitable for the first year or 2 years, like they could keep it running, they could keep developing and get it to that point where it is now, where it's like, it's a pretty good video game. You know what I mean? Like it's a pretty solid video game.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I mean, even like when we were begging for skins, right? Like they didn't have skins initially for purchase, and we're like, give us something to spend our platinum on. We were begging.
Yeah.
I think that was in the first year that they added that initial drop of EA skins and stuff like that. And I definitely think that they have listened to the community in some ways that have like really helped. I definitely, obviously there's more things. There's always more things that can be improved on and changed, and that they should like listen for. But the skins, super big ad, replay system, super big ad. I 100% agree with you. Yeah. We'll go with the last kind of chat question here.
Yo, Salsa, can I jump in really quick for
sure.
like the question that Pinzo just answered?
Yeah.
Guys, Omeda Studios listens to the community. They aren't too big for the boat that they are in, no pun intended, because of Robbie's yacht jokes. But like, I've been a fan of like several different games, and it felt like there were some spots where there was just no ability. Like you can't reach Riot, like not really. But with the size that Omeda is in, and with the diehard like fans that the game Predecessor has right now, Omeda's done a spectacular job of listening and implementing not every single thing that the community has like brought forward and asked for, but they've at least considered most of them. And you have seen things that the community has pitched forward to them that they're like, okay, yeah, maybe that can work. Maybe that is a good chance. Like, guys, we have a skin in this game where a giant ogre is wearing a bikini and has like a Walkman. Like, what more can you want from a dev studio than to listen to its community like that? And I think that that's one of the big keys to success that Omeda has had personally.
Yeah, I agree. The bikini Narvesh skin is fantastic. We love it. Ritterific actually opened it at LAN when he was opening his course, which was kind of funny.
I opened it on my stream block yesterday too.
Did you actually? Oh, that's
I did.
awesome.
Yeah, I got the green variant.
Oh, that's sweet. I like that one. So I guess kind of following up with what Lance said, there's another chat question here that I think kind of applies here. So BlueJ, this one's for you. This one comes from iDwarven in Twitch chat. He says, what kind of breakpoint do you think the game needs in order to seriously compete with League of Legends and Dota?
Yeah, no, I think unfortunately when it comes to gaming at a core now, like money is everything. You know, it's not like it was in the old days. The business model, like the game does need to make money to grow, because more money means bigger prize pools, means more competitive traction, means more casual player base trying to climb the game, right? So at the end of the day, I think the game needs to slowly just keep what it's doing now, and then keep, building up the casual player base, put more cosmetics out that people need to buy. I think the big breaking point will be, honestly, this is something that I want to talk about next, is there will be a second LAN confirmed. And I think that will make, hype train. And I've actually been given a little, I don't want to say permission, because, we're such in the early stages of it currently, but there is a little leaks that I can give on this podcast for, different just time, place, all that good stuff. So I can give that whenever you want, Salsa. But I do think the next LAN will be a huge opportunity to actually get the game out and be seen by a lot of different organizations. One thing that really builds competitive communities is when you have orgs such as Team Liquid, Optic Gaming, all these bigger orgs coming into the game and giving their viewer base a chance to see the game and play it, who they have, millions of followers online on all different accounts. So I think the big breaking point will be when we actually see big organizations move a little bit of money into Predecessor and pick up some of these competitive teams, because I think it'll just start to skyrocket the game on a viewership level, which will increase the player base level.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with that. I think getting those big teams in there, I mean, we've already kind of seen it with like a lot of the Smite streamers, like the Best Taco, Solaire, Sam the Dude as well, coming in, just bringing their player base and just showing them this game. Definitely helps a lot. Helps the player base, and I mean the player base needs to grow for this game to get bigger, so we all need to kind of do our part, I guess. But I think with that, we're going to kind of wind it down here, at least on the podcast side. I'm going to play some games to kind of finish out my block here, but we'll do one quick giveaway, and then we'll kind of do our outros and kind of transition over to some nitros or something like that. So
are you still a queuing?
I will do a queue with you. Would you like? He's giving me the eyebrows. Okay.
I'll launch.
Okay, perfect. All right. We're going to get the Salsa Lance duo after the podcast here. Let's get this giveaway going. 3, 2, 1.
Was it me?
It was not. It was Nito Juanito. I really like that name.
Yo, I've seen a lot of really good I'm a big fan of a good username, and I've seen a lot of really good usernames in the Twitch chat for this little creator block that they've done. All
right, Nito Juanito, if you are in chat, please type something, anything, or else we're gonna have to re-roll you. Yeah, we're all kind of Pred addicts at heart, right? But it was so much fun to see.
Pred obsessors. You can use it.
Yeah,
you can use it.
The amount of passion that people have for this game is uncanny. I absolutely love to see it from every other creator, and every other creator that's been on today and yesterday, starting all the way from Nori. I watched Grizzly for a bit, obviously Lance, Empress right before me. Sockcap is going to be after me, and I know I got a little sneak peek for Sockcap stuff, and I think you guys are going to like what he's got for you guys. But yeah, I think it's just so cool, and I'm excited for the next time they do this sort of event and just see like what other creators they can get on, because obviously there's a lot of people who were missed. So I just appreciate the opportunity to bring this podcast to light and just talk about the game we all love, right? got no message from Nito, so we're gonna re-roll the winner. Lethal.
no.
I feel.
That's a weird way to
Nice.
spell LanceCecil.
I think Nightbot might be a little bit bugged, just a little bit, because I feel like Lethal has won like a bunch of times. Let me see here.
He's got to have multiple accounts, you know.
I don't know. It's the same guy.
If he wants, also I can talk a little bit about next LAN.
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you go right
yeah.
ahead while I'm filling this in. Yeah.
So, and this is just a little tease, guys, for everybody, but next LAN is scheduled to be much bigger than this last one. From what I can give a little bit a snippet there for you guys, there will be a decent amount of changes that we're looking to implement, obviously. But when it comes to the prize pool money side of things, we're looking to make it much bigger. It is almost 100% going to be in the U.S. on the eastern side. So if you cut the U.S. in half, it'll be on the right side from a player view standpoint. I'm not going to give 100% on that just because it depends on venues and stuff. But looking at places like Florida, North Carolina, Texas, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, different places like that.
Columbus.
Columbus. I know we're going to look there as well.
Good.
But yeah, no, that's kind of two of the things that we wanted to shoot out to the players. There is a little countdown timer in the Gazoo Discord on when the next LAN is going to be. It is on April 1st. That may or may not be.
I didn't notice that.
That may or may not be an April Fool's joke. It may not be, or it may be. I don't know.
I did see that, and I saw it as like March, but that's because I didn't add the hours to it. So I was like, March. It's like end of March is such a random time, but April 1st makes a lot of sense. I think that's kind of funny.
Yeah, tune in for April 1st, guys. But yeah, it should be there should be some cool stuff to look forward to coming out in the next month or two, guys. So we're super excited to keep going with that, and the community should get really hyped for it because this one will be bigger and better than ever.
Hell yeah. Big shout out to Shmovie, who was streaming in a block earlier. He actually won the skin on the reroll there. Congratulations on getting your new Bellica skin, bright and shiny. So we're going to go ahead and do our outros. We'll start with me, and then we'll go Lance, Pinzo, BlueJ, and we can kind of just like talk about quick plug your socials, kind of when you stream, all that sort of stuff. Obviously, my Twitch channel is Secret Salsa, as you can see like all over the screen here. We do these podcasts the Saturday after every patch. So there's going to be another one in a couple of weeks here. I do upload them to YouTube, youtube.com/Secret Salsa, as kind of like a VOD kind of thing. And then also they get uploaded in audio only form to Spotify. So if people need to listen to it in the car or while you're working. That's what I used to do before I was on the podcast, and then kind of moved up into taking it over. Shout outs to Hasp, who couldn't be here today, my other co-host. But yeah, I think that's kind of it for the podcast segment. Lance, you can go ahead and plug your sort of stuff. Let's hear it.
I am LanceCecil. You can find me anywhere on the internet where you type the word LanceCecil in. I'm not that dude in the silver lobbies with the Omega sign that says LanceCecil, just LanceCecil in game. I don't know who that guy is. You can find me on X. You can find me on Twitch. I don't have a YouTube page. Make sure that you're supporting and following all things PCC, Gazoo LAN as well. Shout out to my goat, ChoicePlays. Make sure you follow him on Twitch here. He streams every once in a while. That guy's got to be so tired by right now.
Yeah.
So I want to give the credit to the other people. This has been a super cool experience, and find me on them internets.
Hell yeah. Pinzo, you go ahead.
Yeah, I'm Pinzo. I make a little bit of pred content here and there.
A little bit.
Just a tad. You guys can find me Pinzo on all the socials, wherever you guys want to watch. Make sure you guys tune into PCC and LAN and watch me play. Wish me luck.
Hell yeah. And BlueJ, I know you don't do a lot of streaming and stuff like that. Do you have anything you want to plug?
No, not really. Like I said, Cade Campbell 7 on Instagram. If you guys want to see some of my daily life stuff, I don't do that much. Yeah, there you go. We pull it up.
He's got
got some pictures.
What was it?
There,
Cade Campbell?
Cade Campbell 7. Yeah. CAMPBELL. Cade Campbell 7. You guys can go ahead and shoot me a follow on there. No, I just really plug everyone that's been a part of all this about growing the Predecessor community, right? Plug Gazoo. I don't think we have for obviously putting on that LAN. You know, I know he doesn't like to be in the limelight, but he was obviously a giant part of that.
He was the reason that happened. I mean, he's the one who forked over the 60 grand that it cost to run the event. So
yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So, you know, obviously shout him out, shout Choice out, Demande, all the staff there, all the players are taking their own time, their own money to come out and do that. But yeah, just everyone in the community. I really appreciate everything that's been given to us so far, and can't wait to go farther forward.
Perfect. All right. So that's going to do it at the end of this podcast segment. I'm going to let everybody wave goodbye as I transition scenes here. Goodbye, everybody. Thanks for coming on. Lance, Pinzo, BlueJ. It's been a blast. We'll catch you guys next time.